Welcome, everybody. College football week 2 is in the books, and college football week 3 is here. I'm Joe with the Game House, and today we're going to be taking a look at some college football week 3 news and notes. Okay, week 3 is here, and it is kind of a very, very busy week in terms of news and notes. It's kind of weird that the slate isn't very, I would say, marketable in terms of how many good games there are, how many programs are matching up that kind of have that top tier marketability, but there's a lot going on in the sport. So let's get right into it. We're just going to try to give you guys an overview of the things going on in college football, and it's kind of hard to keep track of what's going on where. So this video and article on thegamehouse.com is directed towards kind of making sure there's one spot where a lot of the major news will be covered, although it's always hard to get it all. So if I miss anything, make sure to let me know in the comments below. So Mel Tucker is suspended without pay, likely to be fired by Michigan State. This stems from a sexual harassment case involving Mel Tucker. According to Brett McMurphy, university will wait until the Title IX investigation is completed before making the firing official, but he looks like he's going to be going that way, suspended without pay. Now he's denying the allegations, saying it was an adult consensual relationship, so it doesn't look like things are going to be settled anytime soon. But for the time being, secondary coach Harlan Bennett will be the interim coach, and former head coach Mark D'Antonio will be back in a role with the program. Now this is kind of big news because this week Michigan State has one of their biggest games of the season, arguably. They're playing Washington, maybe not the biggest rivalry, but Washington's a pretty good team, won 11 games last year, has Michael Penix, who's kind of a Heisman, I would say not front runner, but Heisman contender this year. He's going to be having a lot of good, I would say having a lot of good success in this game, and Michigan State just doesn't need this distraction. So it's going to be there, and hopefully they handle it the right way that lets the due process work out, and we'll see what happens. But it looks like, from according to Brett McMurphy, he's going to be gone from the university here soon. The Kentucky offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, I spelled that wrong, wow, has a medical episode, and he had to go to the hospital. So that was on Sunday. He went to the hospital. He expected to be released. He actually was released, and now he's expected to coach on Saturday. He actually kind of made light of it with a joke, just saying he needs to take care of himself better, sleep more, eat healthier. And that's something that would be good for Kentucky. They haven't really gotten the offense to really do as much as they would have liked so far this year. So hopefully having him back and getting things in the flow. They play Akron this Saturday, so having him back will be important. Miami's Cam Kinchens is released from the hospital. Now, he left the game against Texas A&M very, very late, left on a stretcher, and he's in good shape. I don't think there's a timetable for him to return, but it sounds like spirits are kind of high for everything in terms of Mario Cristobal and Cam Kinchens from what has been said so far. So always happy to see a player feel good after getting injured. I mean, that's just a terrible situation that happened at the end of that game. UCF quarterback John Rhys Plumlee, is out for a few weeks with a leg injury. This will kind of cause him to be out for the start of the Big 12 schedule for UCF, which is kind of a big deal for them, the first year in the Big 12. We'll see what they do in the meantime, trying to kind of keep things together, because he is such a talented and important player with his dual threat ability. Kyle McCord has been named Ohio State starter. Now, there's this quarterback battle that's been going on, but Kyle McCord's been getting most of the snaps, so it was kind of a given that he'd be the starter, but he's the starter now. Devin Brown will still play, but he's the backup. I expect them to use Devin Brown as more of a runner. Kyle McCord's the passer, so he'll play maybe 95% of the snaps, and Devin Brown might just be a guy who kind of comes in and runs the ball in short yardage situations. Some other news and notes. The week's polls will be found here, so we're going to check those out too. Just some different things going on with the polls so far this year. Georgia's still the number one team, as you can see, 2-0. Haven't really played anyone. We have Alabama at number 10, which is one of the lowest rankings they've had in years. Florida State all the way up to 3 after they beat LSU in week 1 and kept things going against Southern Miss. Texas all the way up to 4 after they beat Alabama on the road. Just a lot of movement there at the top, which is not something we usually see. We have Colorado all the way up to all the way up 4 spots to 18. And, I think we still have Duke maybe a little bit too low after they beat Clemson. I know Clemson dropped out of the AP poll, still there in the coaching poll, but we'll see what happens there. Next up, Oklahoma head coach Brent Venables is dealing with a situation where former Baylor head coach Art Briles was on the field after Oklahoma defeated SMU. Now, Briles was fired from Baylor in 2016 amid sexual assault investigation. That's something that his son-in-law is Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, so it's kind of a complicated situation, but they have said that will not happen again, so we'll take them at their word and just kind of move forward with that. Tez Walker, you might remember last week, was ruled ineligible. There was some talk of some legal recourse. There's even talk now of just, hey, just play him, make the NCAA make a move here, because he was not granted a waiver to play the season. Now it's the NCAA has been pretty strict with the waiver policy, we'll say, but Tez Walker made a decision 2 days before they changed the rule on him and should be eligible to play. But now, according to ESPN, now it's on UNC. He has no legal action that will work, so he has to consider staying at UNC for next season or declaring for the 2024 NFL Draft. A judge rules for a temporary restraining order to prevent the Pac-12 from meeting. This happened. They were supposed to have a meeting on Wednesday, and they did not. Oregon State and Washington State filed this motion together. They were concerned about schools who are leaving the conference still having an influence on decisions being made, and they wanted to make sure that doesn't happen. So still some life for the Pac-12, the Tupac, the Pac-2, whatever you want to call it, if they can kind of, keep things their way. Maybe they add some other schools and keep the Pac-12 alive. UConn starting quarterback Joe Fagnano is out for the season with a hurt shoulder. He transferred in from Maine. Looked like he had a pretty good start to the season against NC State and threw for a lot of yards at Maine before that. So that's something UConn will have to deal with after making a bowl last year. They are 0-2 right now. In the Big Ten, reprimands Nico Reganey for his comments on officiating. He cursed during a response to when he was asked about whether he was interfered with. Pass interference was not called against him, and the Big Ten reprimanded him. There wasn't really much in the article that is linked there on thegamehouse.com that you can see that said what that actually means, but he issued an apology. It's kind of funny, though, that Brock Heward said on the broadcast of this Iowa State-Iowa game that it was pass interference, too. So I don't know what this all means, but he was reprimanded by the Big Ten, and now I guess we're going to just move forward. Iowa has a lot to worry about. Iowa State as well, I guess, since both teams are involved in this game, and both teams are involved in some sort of that gambling scandal, too. So those are the major news and notes going on in college football in Week 3. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments below. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.